Hello students, welcome to chemistry online classes, thermodynamics lesson going on. In today's video, we are going to see heat capacity. Students, see, heat capacity topic is deleted from the syllabus due to this pandemic, but next topic is related to heat capacity. So without knowing heat capacity, understanding next topic will not be possible. So let us cover that topic. What is heat capacity? We'll see what is heat capacity. Amount of heat required to increase temperature of a system by 1 degree Celsius is called as heat capacity. How much amount of heat is required to increase the temperature of that system by 1 degree Celsius is called as its heat capacity. Okay. So let us write down definition. For that system, we should heat, and that after heating, its temperature should increase by 1 degree Celsius. That much heat required is called as heat capacity. Next, we will see what is specific heat capacity. Amount of heat required to increase temperature of unit mass of a system. One mass of a substance, unit mass of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. If system, only system, then it is called as heat capacity, normal topic. But if unit mass is there, system's mass is unit, then amount of heat required to increase its temperature is called as specific heat capacity. So let us write next thing. Students, first I wrote what is heat capacity. Okay, same, now we'll write definition of what is specific heat capacity. Amount of heat required to increase the temperature of, see a student, unit mass of a substance or system, we can say unit mass of a system by 1 degree Celsius is called specific heat capacity. Okay. See here, unit mass of a system. Mass of system should be at unity 1. Then that heat capacity is called as specific heat capacity. Okay, understand the difference. If how much mass of a substance is specific, then that heat capacity is called as specific heat capacity. So what is molar heat capacity? Let us see all the terms. Molar heat capacity. Same definition. What is molar heat capacity? Amount of heat required to increase the temperature of a substance by amount of heat required to increase the temperature of 1 mole of a substance. Substance should be taken 1 mole. Okay, then whatever is under observation, that substance is called as system only. that system should be 1 mole. If it is 1 mole, then it is called as molar heat capacity. So, let us write the definition. Amount of heat required to increase the temperature of 1 mole of a substance by 1 degree Celsius is called molar heat capacity. So I hope student the differences you understood between the terms. So all the terms we have written here. It is molar heat capacity. Firstly I told what is heat capacity. Amount of heat required to increase only temperature of a system by 1 degree Celsius is called as heat capacity. But if that is unique mass of a system, then it is called as specific heat capacity. If that is 1 mole of a substance or system, then it is called as molar heat capacity. Molar heat capacity is shown by symbol C. For capacity, symbol is written C. Now students see, C is equal to formula what we can write? Amount of heat. Heat is indicated by symbol Q. To increase temperature, so divided by delta T. Heat capacity symbol is C is equal to Q by delta T. Okay. Amount of heat required to increase temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So change in temperature. That is called as C. Now here, generally question will be asked, define 2 marks question. Any of these definition, either heat capacity, specific heat capacity, molar heat capacity, all definitions are not same. So whatever differences are there, that is mentioned. Understand the differences and definition should be very perfectly written. Along with that, they will ask question for 1 mark. What is the relationship between Cp, Cv? Okay, C for capacity, Cp and Cv. For example, see here, heat capacity at constant volume is Cv, okay, and heat capacity at constant pressure is equal to Cp. Understanding Cp, Cv meaning heat capacity is C. If it is measured at constant volume, it is Cv. If it is measured at constant pressure, it is called as Cp. What is the relationship between Cp, Cv? Relationship between Cp and Cv is Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Okay, so see here, we wrote what is heat capacity at constant pressure at constant volume, and relationship between them is Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Difference between heat capacity at constant pressure and heat capacity at constant volume is always equal to R. What is R? R is universal gas constant. Okay. Sometimes derivation is also asked. So let us understand derive relationship between. So what I am writing, derive relationship between Cp and Cv. That is, we have to show Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So let us see that. Things are very easy. See students. First one I will write what is Cv. Okay. So what I can write for Cv formula? Then I know that C is equal to Q divided by delta T. So based on that I will write Cv is equal to Qv divided by delta T. Okay. Qv. What is Qv? Heat at constant volume. Okay. Opposite side I will write for Cp. For Cp what can I write? Qp divided by delta T. Both formula is understood properly because C is equal to Q by delta T. At constant volume, I wrote QV. At constant pressure, I wrote QP. Here Q means what? Heat. From starting of this lesson, we are writing symbol Q for heat. Heat at constant volume, heat at constant pressure. Okay. Next. So, what can we write for QV based on this formula? QV is equal to, we can write cross multiply to CV into delta T. Here QP is equal to, we can write Cp into delta T. Okay. Next. Students, but we know. What you know? Yes, in previous video, last 5 minutes, what we have seen, that QV is equal to delta U and QP is equal to delta H. Okay. At constant volume, heat at constant volume is always equal to change in internal energy. Heat at constant pressure is always equal to change in enthalpy. What is H? H is the symbol for enthalpy. In previous video, this topic is covered. What is enthalpy? Enthalpy is total heat content. Heat, that's why symbol for enthalpy is H. Okay. So, up to things are over here. Now, student, QV is equal to CV delta T also. QV is equal to delta U also. Both are there. LHS is same. Okay, LHS is same. That's why what here we can write. Therefore, we can write here LHS is same. So I will write CV delta T is equal to delta U. Okay. QV is equal to this one formula. Both LHS is same. So CV delta T is equal to delta U. What can you write opposite side? Here also. QP is equal to two formulas are there. So we can write Cp delta T is equal to delta H. Okay. Now, up to this you wrote. Okay. You found out this important formulas. Now students, according to ideal gas, what can you write according to ideal gas? According to ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. But for 1 mole, N is number of moles. If it is 1, we will write PV is equal to RT. For 1 mole, N becomes 1. Change, we can write T delta V is equal to R. Okay, 1 second. Not according to ideal gas equation, 1 sec. According to enthalpy concept, we should go according to enthalpy concept. According to enthalpy, what symbol we what formula we know? H is equal to U plus PV. Yes, enthalpy says that H, what we have seen in enthalpy? Enthalpy H is sum of internal energy and product of pressure and volume. In enthalpy, we have written this formula. Now, instead of PV, we can write nRT according to ideal gas equation. So I am writing H is equal to U plus nRT. Okay. Actually, H is equal to U plus PV, but PV means nRT according to ideal gas equation. For 1 mole, what can I write? For 1 mole, I will write H is equal to U plus RT. H is equal to U plus RT for 1 mole. Change in enthalpy. Yes, students. Now I will write change in enthalpy. Here only enthalpy was there, H was there. Now if change we have to write, what we can write? Delta H is equal to delta U plus R is constant. Take it outside. So we can write delta H is equal to delta U plus R delta T. Okay. Next. What is delta H? So I substitute delta H is equal to, we got delta U plus R is constant, kept outside delta T. But delta H means what we have got? For delta H I will write Cp delta T. Delta U means we have got Cv delta T plus as it is R delta T. Here everywhere which term is common? Delta T. So let us cancel that term. So I can write Cp is equal to Cv plus R, and therefore Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Finally, this is relationship. You should be knowing. What is the relationship between Cp and Cv? Okay. So student, I hope you understood heat capacity topic. For this year it is related, but for CET NEET it may or may not be there. Nothing is clear till yet. But for next topic it was necessary. So let us see once again what is heat capacity. How much heat is required to increase temperature by 1 degree Celsius. If it is for unit mass of a system, then it is called as specific heat capacity. If it is for 1 mole, then it is called as molar heat capacity. It is given by symbol C, and at constant volume Cv, at constant pressure it is called as Cp. Relationship for 1 mark question will be as Cp minus Cv is equal to R is the relationship between Cp and Cv. How derivation we can show this? First you should write what is Cv, what is Cp by the formula Q by delta T. Cv at constant volume, so heat at constant volume. So Qv is equal to, you can write like this. Okay, but in previous video we have seen that heat at constant volume is always equal to change in internal energy. LHS same, so you can substitute like this. Then this is according to enthalpy. Write formula for change in enthalpy. Substitute these values. Delta T gets cancelled, and very easily you can derive the relationship between Cp and Cv. So student, let us move towards our next topic, that is measurement of delta U and delta H. See here, same topic again. Measurement of delta U, how done? Then always remember student, now we will start the topic. In that topic also, what is that topic? Measurement of delta U, measurement of delta H. What is delta U? Change in internal energy. What is delta H? Change in enthalpy. Delta U is always measured at constant volume and delta H is always measured at constant pressure. Let us see that. Yes students, let us start with measurement of delta U and delta H. Okay, very important topic. Question will be generally asked. It's very important. This one, how measurement of change in internal energy is done. Delta U measurement generally question will be asked. Okay, so let us understand this. Diagram is in front of you. Understand the diagram. Writing part we'll see afterwards. So measurement of change in internal energy, how takes place. Whatever is in front of you, that is called as bomb calorimeter. Okay. Bomb calorimeter, and the technique is called as calorimetry. This technique, whatever is used to measure change in internal energy, is called as calorimetry. Okay. This is a total bomb calorimeter. How is apparatus? Let us see one by one. Inside this you can see one vessel. See student, this inside whatever vessel is there, this is called, this is made up of steel vessel, thick steel vessel. Okay, side by side I will do labeling, and like that only I will go on telling you the information here. Whatever this vessel you can see, this is made up of steel, very thick vessel will be there. It will be sealed here upside, and this vessel itself is called as bomb, and that's why calorimeter is called as bomb calorimeter. Why it is very thick? Because inside burning will take place, that time pressure will be created. To withstand high pressure, the walls are very thick. Okay, walls of the steel vessel are very thick to withstand very high pressure, whatever is increase during combustion of the reaction. Here, these are two firing leads you can see. Here, whatever black color shown, that is sample. One fixed amount of sample is burnt here. Some sample, because we have to measure change in internal energy. So one known amount of substance is burnt. For burning of a substance, oxygen is required. So from here, whatever gap you can see, this is inlet for oxygen. This is inlet for oxygen. Oxygen goes inside from here. Oxygen is required for burning. Through firing leads, electricity will be supplied and this known amount of substance is burnt. Okay. Now, when this substance is burnt, heat is released. This released heat will be absorbed by surrounding steel vessel. Students, you know that steel is a very good conductor of heat. All metals rather are good conductors of heat. So, whenever heat is released by burning of the substance, all that heat will be absorbed by this steel vessel, which is called as bomb. Now this steel vessel is immersed in outer vessel. Outside you can see one vessel. This outer vessel is made up of insulating material. This outer vessel is made up of insulating material. It will not allow any heat to go outside. Okay, and this outer vessel is filled with water. Inside vessel, which is also called as steel, made up of steel, which is also called as bomb, made up of steel vessel, is immersed in the outer vessel. Outer vessel is filled with water. Now what will happen, students? Substance burns. For burning, oxygen is supplied, electricity is passed. When it burns, heat will be given out. All that heat will be absorbed by steel vessel. Steel vessel becomes hot. No loss of heat because it is closed. Then all that heat will be passed by steel vessel to the surrounding water. Okay. First heat will be absorbed by steel vessel as it is a good conductor. All that heat will be absorbed by surrounding water. Okay. And that water becomes hot. Now what is done? In this surrounding water, two things are immersed here. This is what is thermometer. Thermometer is kept. This is one special type of thermometer which is highly sensitive type of thermometer. As it is very sensitive, it can even measure a 0.01 degree Celsius. How much small change in temperature also it can identify. Okay, so this thermometer is dipped here. Before burning of the substance, initial temperature of water is measured. Imagine that initial temperature of water is T1. After that, substance burnt, heat will be given out, heat will be absorbed by steel vessel. Steel vessel becomes hot and its heat will be absorbed by surrounding water. And that's why surrounding water's temperature increases. Let us imagine that final temperature is T2. Okay. Now here see students, whatever is water in very close to this steel vessel, its temperature will be much more. Here, steel vessel will be there, surrounding that water is there. Okay. Now outer vessel, why insulating material? Because now whatever heat is absorbed by water, it should not go outside. That's why we have to measure the change in internal energy by measuring the temperature. So water's heat should not go outside. That's why outer vessel must be insulating material. Okay. Now see student, inside steel vessel is there. It became hot. Its heat is absorbed by surrounding water. But water surrounding, some water will be close to steel vessel, some will be little away. That's why all water should be mixed, because homogeneous mixing should be there so that temperature remains everywhere same. So here is one stirrer. Stirrer always mixes water so that everywhere temperature of water should be same. Final temperature is measured as T2, and that's then difference in temperature is given by delta T, and this delta T is called as delta U. Change in internal energy is change in temperature. Why? Because already you know that delta U is equal to QV, heat absorbed or given out at constant volume. Why at constant volume? Here you can see that the things are totally sealed. So heat is measured at constant volume. No heat is lost to the surrounding. Okay, so that is equal to change in internal energy, that is delta U. Delta U is always measured at constant volume. So here you can see that volume is kept constant by sealing the bomb calorimeter. I hope the things are very clear to you. So you should first explain the arrangement in bomb calorimeter, what and all things you should tell. This technique is called as calorimetry. This complete apparatus is called as bomb calorimeter. It is used for measurement of change in internal energy. It consists of inside one vessel, outside one vessel. Inside vessel is made up of steel. Thick walls are there to withstand inside pressure. Why pressure is created? Because here combustion is taking place. Okay, heat will be given out, that creates pressure, and to withstand that, these walls are very thick walls will be there. Okay, inside heat will be given out. How substance burns here? See, sample, oxygen inlet, electric fire. See, heat will be absorbed by steel vessel, passed to surrounding water. Water becomes hot. Here is thermometer. What type of thermometer? Very sensitive thermometer. It can even identify the change of even 0.01 degrees Celsius. If very small amount of substance is also burnt, less amount of heat is also given out, then also that much change in temperature also can be identified by this very sensitive thermometer. Okay, and here is stirrer for stirring and keeping the temperature of water everywhere same. Okay, everywhere you can see that it is completely, walls are completely sealed, because change in internal energy should be calculated at constant volume. Okay, so like this you should understand measurement of delta U. Diagram must be drawn properly. Expression I will write, students. Now let us see how measurement of delta H is done. What is delta H? Change in enthalpy. For change in enthalpy, what you know, student? Delta H is equal to, always you know that, QP. Means delta H, change in enthalpy, is always measured at constant pressure. Pressure should be kept constant. Then how to keep pressure constant? Keeping volume was little easy, because if you will just close, volume will remain constant. But now we have to keep pressure constant. So pressure is kept constant by just keeping this. This is also one type of calorimeter. Here also same things will take place. Here is reaction mixture. Reaction is going on. Heat will be evolved. Thermometer, you can see same things will take place. This is also one type of calorimeter. Okay, here you can see this is made up of one polystyrene or a thermocol type of cup. Okay, here also reaction takes place. It will be given out. It will be measured by thermometer. But this has to be carried out. Here we are measuring change in enthalpy, which has to be carried out at constant pressure. Then how to keep the pressure constant? So what is done in this calorimeter? Calorimeter is kept open. By keeping calorimeter open, it will get exposed to air. That is, it is under atmospheric pressure. Like this, pressure is kept constant because now which pressure is acting on it? Atmospheric pressure. I hope student you will be knowing that always everywhere atmospheric pressure is acting on us also. Always one type of pressure will be there, that is called as atmospheric pressure. Who is creating that pressure? That is what atmosphere creates. The air above us at always exert a pressure called as atmospheric pressure on us. If we move up, the air present upside exert pressure. So if you are on ground floor, air above is exerting pressure on you. If you will go on the terrace, on you pressure will be of course less, because now the air which is present above you, that is only exerting pressure on you. Below air will cut. Okay, so like this always there will be a pressure called as atmospheric pressure. So pressure is kept constant by keeping calorimeter open. Okay. Here understand students that here much explanation is not given. That's why generally question will be asked for delta U only, because bomb calorimeter is very important. Now here exothermic endothermic reactions understand students, because delta H. Sometimes this delta H answer, change in enthalpy, will be positive, sometimes answer will be negative. When it is positive, that type of reactions are called as endothermic reactions. What do you mean by endothermic reactions, students? Whenever heat will be absorbed, that type of reactions are called as endothermic reactions. For them, delta H value is always positive. And whenever heat will be given out, that type of reactions are called as exothermic reactions, and delta H value becomes negative. Okay, let us writing part I will do. Once again, we will go through the things. Okay, see the diagram properly. Draw the things exactly. Okay, labeling should be done correctly. Okay. See student, the explanation how you should write for measurement of change in internal energy by bomb calorimetry. As it is important question, explanation I have given. Write it down as it is. What the things are written here. See, measurement of delta U. Whatever things I explain, everything is there. Let us see the things. Delta U is change in internal energy. Yes, which is carried out or it is measured at constant volume. Students, we know that delta U is equal to QV, and that's why it must be carried out at constant volume. Why? Because we know delta U is equal to QV. Next, using of course bomb calorimetry. What is there in bomb calorimetry? First thing, it consists of thick walled steel vessel which is called as bomb. Walls are thick because to withstand high pressure during combustion. The vessel is fitted with a tight lid and it is placed in an insulated outer vessel. Outer vessel is insulated because we don't want any heat loss. Okay, we have to measure Q, that is heat. So heat loss should not be there. That's why outer vessel is insulated vessel. That outer vessel is containing water. In that water, what is there? See, a sensitive thermometer. How much sensitive? Which can even read up to 0.01 degrees Celsius is kept there along with a stirrer. Next, so how experiment is performed? A known mass, that whatever substance we are going to burn in bomb calorimeter, its substance mass first should be known. It is first measured. Known mass of a substance is burnt in bomb calorimeter, of course in presence of excess of oxygen, because there I have shown you the passage of oxygen in the diagram. By passing electric current, firing leads we have seen, through that current is passed, substance is burnt. During burning, heat is evolved, which is first absorbed by whom? By steel vessel. And steel vessel passes it to water. Understanding? Steel vessel will absorb the heat and it will pass the heat to the surrounding water. Initial and final temperature of water is measured. Thermometer is, that's why dipped in water. Initial and final temperature is measured as T1 and T2 respectively. Rise in temperature is change in temperature, T2 minus T1. Of course, Afterwards, as water will be absorbing heat, temperature T2 will be more than T1. So T2 minus T1, that is change in temperature. Since bomb calorimeter is sealed, whatever bomb calorimeter diagram we have seen, that is sealed bomb calorimeter, means its volume does not change. Like this, change in internal energy is measured at constant volume. Okay. Thus, internal energy changes associated with reaction are measured at constant volume. And finally, we will write delta U is equal to QV. Like this, we measured at constant volume. What we measured? Q means heat. How much heat is evolved. And that is change in internal energy. Like this, change in internal energy is measured at constant volume. Okay. Now see how measurement of delta H is done. Already we know that delta H is measured at constant pressure. So what things explained already I have told you. Same experiment. Okay. So here I have written delta H is heat change or enthalpy change, which is measured at constant pressure. Because we know that delta H is equal to Qp. Next, how pressure is kept constant? The calorimeter is kept open to keep pressure constant. How by keeping open pressure remains constant? Because now atmospheric pressure is working on the reaction mixture. Okay, so here I am writing calorimeter exposed to atmospheric pressure. Okay, atmospheric pressure. So pressure is kept constant. Then during this reaction, if heat is evolved, the type of reactions are called as exothermic reactions. And for them, Q, that is heat, will be negative, because whenever heat is given out, answer comes negative. And that's why delta H value is also negative if heat is given out for exothermic type of reactions. But if endothermic type of reactions are taking place, endothermic means what, students? The reactions in which heat is absorbed. The type of reactions are called as endothermic reactions. Whenever heat is absorbed, Q will be positive, and that's why delta H will also be positive. Okay, so writing part understand properly. Here definitions, remember what do you mean by endothermic reactions and exothermic reactions. Endothermic, heat is absorbed, delta H value always positive. Exothermic, heat is released, heat is given out, delta H values will be always negative. Okay, so here also you can see Q, that is heat is measured at constant pressure. Pressure is kept constant by exposing reaction mixture to atmospheric pressure. Like that, Qp is equal to delta H. This Qp is always equal to delta H. Like this, delta H, change in enthalpy, is measured. Okay. So this all explanation along with diagrams, write down properly. Question is very important. Let us solve one problem based on this. Yes, friends. Let us solve one problem which is based on bomb calorimetry. Okay. What is given in the problem? So this is the problem given in NCERT textbook. Let us read the problem and try to understand this. 1 gram of graphite is burnt. Known mass of a substance is burnt in bomb calorimeter. I have told you. Here mass of substance is given 1 gram. 1 gram graphite is burnt in bomb calorimeter. Just now experiment we have seen in that experiment, that technique, calorimetry technique. 1 gram graphite is burnt in bomb calorimeter. Of course, in excess of oxygen at 298 Kelvin, 1 atmospheric pressure according to this reaction. What is reaction? C plus O2 gives CO2. C means graphite. Okay. It is burnt, given out carbon dioxide. when this reaction was going on, during this reaction, temperature rises from 298 to 299 Kelvin. Okay, 298 became 299, hardly 1 Kelvin increases there. If heat capacity of bomb calorimeter is given, heat capacity of bomb calorimetry is given 20.7 kilojoules per Kelvin. What is enthalpy change for the above reaction? Enthalpy change is asked. So student, what we have to find out? Here I will write. Given is enthalpy change. We have to find out. Given is heat capacity. Heat capacity, so I will write C. Yes, heat capacity symbol C. Bomb calorimetry means volume constant. So what is given? CV. You should understand. They will not tell you. You should understand that heat capacity means C. Bomb calorimeter is always at constant volume, so CV. CV is given how much? 20.7 kilojoule per Kelvin. Okay. And based on this, delta T, temperature change is also given. 298 becomes 299 Kelvin. Okay. What we have to find out? We should find out enthalpy change. Enthalpy symbol H. So we have to find out delta H. Students, see here how we can solve this. CV is given, so immediately we will write down the formula for CV is equal to QV by delta T. Okay. So QV is equal to, you can say students, CV into delta T. Very easy formula. CV is equal to QV by delta T. Already you know this formula. So QV is equal to, you can multiply this. CV is given how much? CV is given 20.7. Change in temperature to final minus initial, 299 minus 298, 1 Kelvin difference is there. So directly you got answer 20.7. Of course unit is kilojoule. Okay. QV we calculated as 20.7 kilojoules. I am giving negative sign for this because when this graphite is burnt, heat is given out. That's why heat should be, Q sign should be negative. Okay. Negative sign indicates heat is released, given out. Okay. QV we calculated, but we don't want QV. We want what? We want delta H. Delta H, that is the thing we have to find out. Okay. Now we know that as delta T here is 1. Delta T is 1. That's why we can say that, here what I am writing, as delta T is equal to 1. Therefore, we can say that CV is equal to QV. And this students, it is 1, so CV is equal to QV. Therefore, CV, okay, is equal to QV we got. Okay, but this is one thing what we got. Also we know that QV is equal to always delta U. Yes, QV is equal to delta U. Therefore, delta U value is change in internal energies. Both are same only. CV is equal to QV and QV is equal to delta U. So, delta U I can write. How much delta U is there? Minus 20.7 kilojoule. But this value is there for when how much graphite is burnt, when 1 gram of graphite is burnt, for 1 gram carbon. Okay, when 1 gram carbon is burnt, that value it is. Okay, but what is asked in question, it is asked that what is enthalpy change for above reaction. See student, here is the things which is very important. Enthalpy change we have to find out for above reaction. For this reaction, then what is there in this reaction? Observe. You will see that graphite here is 1 mole. Graphite in the reaction is 1 carbon, means 1 mole of carbon. and you know that 1 mole of carbon means 12 gram of carbon. This value is given, 20.7 heat capacity is given when 1 gram of graphite is burnt. But in question it is asked that calculate enthalpy change for above reaction. In above reaction, graphite is 1 mole, that is 12 gram. 1 mole of carbon means 12 gram of carbon. So this 20.7 kilojoules we calculated for 1 gram. Then what is value for 12 gram? Carbon. Carbon means graphite. For 1 gram it was 20.7. For 12 gram how much it will be? Just multiply by 12. So delta U is equal to minus 20.7 into 12. And answer comes 248.4. 248.4 kilojoules. Okay. Then students, you will say that madam, we have to find out enthalpy change. You found out change in internal energy. Okay. Why? Because see here. Okay, one part I will write here. Okay, I will write, continue here. Delta U. We know that delta. Okay. Some part I will add here. See students, you should be knowing that delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Everybody knows this. This is by enthalpy equation. Delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. In bomb calorimeter, what is constant? For bomb calorimeter, delta V is 0 because volume is kept constant. So this complete term becomes 0. Therefore, for bomb calorimeter, what I am writing? For bomb calorimeter, always this becomes 0. So delta H is equal to delta U. For bomb calorimeter, always change in internal energy is equal to delta H. Okay, and that's why delta U instead I can write delta H is equal to minus 248.4 kilojoule per. Okay, this is how you have to solve this problem. Make practice of the things because NCERT problems are all very important. And let us see you students in next topic. Till that, keep working.